as you can see, the wonderful tail number that we've been blessed with by SWS and the PC-12 might be a bit of an omen for the flight coming up. I have yet to fly this thing more than a few minutes, but this should definitely be pretty interesting. Hope you guys are having a good afternoon. I am streaming on a Friday, which I know is very unusual. But with the release of the PC-12, I wanted to hop on the bandwagon here and check it out. I have been loving the TBM so much that having another turboprop in our arsenal would be a pretty fun thing. Right now it looks like we got Diesel in the chat. What's going on, Diesel? You ready for this, buddy? Over on the ground with us, I've got Kyle. He hasn't been with us in a little while, but he was able to join us tonight. CRJ, I think, mentioned he's going to be here. I'm not sure if he's in the chat. We'll take a look around here in a moment. Might actually be able to find him. And some other people who are here. Got some people leaving and enjoying this weather right now. Twisted. Let's see who else we got around the airport right now. It was kind of a last minute thing, so I'm not sure who else is going to be here, but there's Kyle. He also has the PC-12. Let's look at and see what that looks like from the exterior model. I believe he has the same tail number as me, so hopefully it's not too big of a deal for us figuring these things out. KASE is a little snowed in right now, which is typical for this time of the year. Let's get back in the cockpit here and have a little bit of fun. Alright, Kyle, I'm back. Alright, so, yeah, don't hit the headrest and make your pilot appear. That can get really interesting. You're suddenly looking through the glasses of the pilot. That happened to me at the end of the stream the other day. And if you click on the co-pilot, you can make her appear and disappear, and also the passengers along with her. Check out the interior here. There's quite a few buttons and drawers you can push and pull. That's pretty cool. Definitely some nice features. Oh, it doesn't even have to open all the way. That's pretty neat. Diesel, is everything coming in good on your end? OBS did an update on me all of a sudden, and had to fix a few things there, so I just want to make sure. What are these? Discets? Dip the tip. Just the tip. I don't even know what those are.
Me either.
Here's the, when things go wrong, this is the drawer we'll be digging into.
Yeah.
And here is, the rest of it. Why did this look like medical vials, like urine samples or something? I don't know what we're transporting today, but it could get a little interesting. I know that you can click on these passengers and kind of shift them around a little bit, make them a little bit more comfortable. And there's a little side table. That flips out, and I feel like I saw somewhere somebody had a laptop or something on one of them. Maybe I'm mistaken. Go ahead and store those back away for our takeoff here. 5x5 looks great. Awesome. Exactly what I want to hear. Not sure what's in the back of the plane. There's some click spots here, which I'm afraid to see what they've done. Oh, they opened the door. Okay, so let's close that back. Make sure we don't have any open doors. And now I can't find a click spot, of course. Uh-oh. Already broke it. Let's see here. Let's go back to the back of the plane. Excuse me. And see what we need to push. Phone mic. I don't see a little hand popping up anywhere. That's a problem. Can we go to this view and close it, maybe? Nope. May have to pull up the manual here in a minute and figure this one out. Look, we didn't even make it 2 minutes into the stream and I've already broke something. Leave it to me. Alright, I do have the... Oh, hang on. Wait. Nope, that's just a passenger. Still got a cargo door in the back. You have to stare at the ground, maybe? Not sure. Alright, well, we'll I'll back up here to the front and I'll check the manual out for click spots real quick. Let me drag this over here. Let you guys check this out too. It's pretty nice and detailed in terms of the manual. I was kind of doing a little light reading before we get started here, try to learn what I could. But they've got quite the extensive manual, which is nice to have considering a lot of mods and airplanes now are not coming with these things anymore, and you're just kind of stuck left to figure it out on your own. Let's see if we can find the hiding the crew and passengers, cabin drawers, exits. Okay, that's the exits. Where are the doors? Maybe door. Let's see, door. Where is that highlighted? Exits. If you open the cargo door, first click the handle area at the center of the door. Oh, that's the exit, though. Center of the door, then close it. Click under cargo door window. Hey, what's going on, Eric? We've been in the airplane for 5 minutes, and we've already managed to open the door, and we can't figure out how to close it. So we're working on figuring out how to do that without having to restart the flight, hopefully. Work our way back here again so we can find that click spot. Let's see. It's kind of like right behind, because I clicked up on the firewall here, or the pressure wall. Now we're really struggling to find a spot to click to get it close. Well, let's see if we can find it. Once we get in the air, it's not a big deal. We can poke around, not waste too much time here on the ground. Alright, first thing we want to do, get rid of that sunshade and get these visors up. Should be able to just use your mouse wheel to scroll them all the way. And then we'll get the controls lock, do an exterior inspection. We'll pretend that this door is actually closed. Once we figure out how to close that the proper way, we will. But exterior inspection, removing the control locks does remove all the pitot covers and whatnot. So everything outside looks good. Pull the checklist back up. We won't go quite through the pre-flight, just because it's kind of lengthy and doesn't really do us a whole lot of good. But for our situation, there's not really any failures modeled, so no need to really do a whole lot of testing. But we'll start with the before start checklist here. Alright, control wheel lock is removed, which we just did. Parking brake is set. I'm going to confirm it on my honeycomb. Alright. Wheel chocks have been removed. Once again, we were checking outside. Once we click that control lock tab there, they kind of disappeared on us. Fuel caps secured. Poke our head out the window here. Kind of hard to see, but there's that fuel cap. And if you take a look at the other wing, there it is, closed. Okay, those are secure. Crew seats and seatbelts adjust and secure. Overhead electrical switches are off. Everything's cold and dark up here. Standby bus, if applicable. We can turn that on. Get us some power here. We want to have around 25.5 volts, which we do. And then let's go ahead and get our inertial separator open. Moving down the list. Cooling and heating is off. Seatbelt, no smoking signs, on. Circuit breakers are in. We checked those during the pre-flight. They are all in. EPS switch, test armed. EPS, if I remember, is down here. Yep, there it is. Test. Wait for the battery test light to come on. Alright, that's good. And back to armed. ECS switch is off. That's environmental control systems. It's off. Friction lock checked. Okay. Controls are good to move around. And the condition lever is to ground idle. It actually says back in the checklist here, but I'm presuming it means that it needs to be at ground idle because we're about to do our start. Alright, battery switch on, battery 1, battery 2. Confirm our voltage is still good, 25.4, we're good to go there. Nav lights on. And external power is required, we're good on the voltage, so no need for that. Oh, let's check it real quick. It wasn't working earlier, but I did move my aircraft. So it says external power is on, but I was still having battery drain when I was kind of poking around trying to figure out where everything was. So I'm not sure what needs to be fixed there or adjusted. but we'll carry on down through our list. Fuel quantity and totalizer. So let's go ahead and pull up our sim brief profile along with our weight and balances here. Go ahead and fetch the latest. Block fuel 999 or 997 pounds. We currently have 1,347. So we can drop that down a little bit. We'll carry a little extra fuel just in case. And then our takeoff weight is 8,178 pounds. And it's close enough. Good on that. Now we need to test our screen here. Everything looks good, and now we need to hit the fuel reset button. It should pull in our quantity here momentarily. Maybe. Don't know if I need to be more patient or try it again. Fuel reset. It might be a push and hold. Oh, there it goes. Alright, 1,013 pounds. Which is interesting because we have 1,131 pounds, so that must be usable fuel. We're missing about 100 pounds of fuel there. From what we have loaded into the plane itself. Landing gear, 3 green. Maybe we should have done our pre-flight check. Confirm our landing gear is down. That's good. And our CAWS, which is our annunciator panel down here, is appropriate. With our passenger door open. I wonder if we close this, if it will shut that door in the back. Nope. That was high hopes. Alright, come on. Give me a click spot. I need to have one of these guys hop out there and hold the door closed for me while we're flying. What do you guys think? Alright. We'll figure that out in the air. We'll pretend it's closed. Alright, engine start. Beacon on. Good. Got our overhead here. Beacon. Prop area is clear. Ignore these ground crews since we can't really get rid of them. And hit the starter switch. We're going to focus on our ITT here. Everything is pretty much handled on start. But we want to make sure that this doesn't get too hot on us. Which it jumped all the way up to 2,260 degrees Celsius. So I am thinking something went wrong there. You know what I'm going to do real quick? Let's go ahead and shut this off and try something real quick. Oh, wrong button. Let's turn that off. Our ITT was way too hot. Let's let that cool off real quick, and then we're going to try starting with the condition lever out of feather, or in feather, then the ground idle at the appropriate ITT. Kind of wonder if you can turn over the engine like you can with the TBM 850 and cool the engine off. Not sure if we can or not, though. Is there a way to turn the ignition off, maybe? No. I don't see a way to just turn the engine over. So what happens if we hit the starter here? See if that'll cool it off. Any faster? Yeah, it's bringing the temperatures down pretty quick. Let that spool over for a second here before we introduce fuel. Get that temperature down. Kind of neat that scene is to be modeled. So I was wrong on the start there. You do want that all the way back off for the condition lever. Bring that down to something much more respectable. And while that is going off, See if we can find something for these cargo doors again. Cargo. Nice that they'd show exactly where to look. To open the cargo door, first click on the handle area at the center of the door. To open or close it, click under the cargo door window. I think that's for the cargo variant, not necessarily the passenger door like we have right now. Alright, so ITT is down to something a little bit more respectable, so let's go up to Grand Idle. Let's watch that ITT again. Okay, yeah, that seems to work much better. 780 is our max there. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn our standby bus off. Essential buses and auto, let's get Gen 1 on. Gen 2. Avionics 2 and Avionics 1 on. There we go. Go ahead and turn our ECS on. And pusher seems to... I tried running the pusher test earlier, but it was kind of finicky and that light never really went off. First flight and almost blew the engine.
I couldn't get that one either.
Yeah, I don't know. I ran through the entire test, but it would not turn off for whatever reason. So we can get our panel lights on. That's for the cabin lighting. And let's go ahead and make sure our oxygen is on. ECS is on. Let's set our cruise altitude here. We're going to flight level 250. Yeah, diesel. Luckily, that yours isn't modeled. Otherwise, we would be replacing the engine on a brand new airplane. Well, technically, this isn't brand new, but for me, it's brand new. Alright, is there a way to turn the gauges on a little, like, make them a little brighter, I wonder? Yeah, that seems to brighten them up a little bit.
I can't get my switches to go. They're like locked in a position.
Which ones?
Down by like the throttle and whatnot. They're like locked. I can't even move the little twist knobs.
Oh, do you have a hotkey that turns lights on and off? You might need to turn that on first.
I might. I don't know. I unbinded all the ones from my honeycomb.
Yeah, because I ran into something similar earlier and I had to unbind something. So we get the floodlight here, which really brightens things up. You can get the dome light on, which also makes it overly bright. This is really controlling the lights and the instruments. But for the stream, we'll leave the dome lights on for you guys because I know it's a little dark out here right now. Okay, so let's go in here and go to our flight plan. Let's import the flight plan. We're using the PMS 50, and not only do we have the 750, but we have the 650 in here also. Alright, so let's check our departure here. It's saying Pitkin 4, runway 33. That's correct. Look at our procedures for our approach. We're doing powder 1, and we're going to expect 3-4 right. 3-4 right. And do we have Janet? Nope. Okay, we'll do vectors for now. Load that approach in. Let's take a look at the map. Make sure this looks correct. And it does. Once we get down here closer to Denver, we're going to have to vector ourselves in here. We're going to be expecting 3-4 right, so... looks to be this line right here. Okay, let's head back to our airport here. Taxi here is pretty easy. Oh, this is interesting. How it's got this arc coming out from that runway. We're going to be heading straight up to 250. And we're going to be want to be in vertical speed. We're going to climb out at 2,000 feet per minute. Going to be in nav mode. Be like this GPS. Oh, and this is something I found that was kind of aggravating too. Is you got to change your nav mode down on the below the annunciator panel so that you can swap to GPS mode on your CDI. Alright, we're starting to get a little ice build up, so let's go ahead and get our boots on, propeller on, inertial separator's already on, and windshield along with our probes. I think we've got heating for cap and foot, and everything else looks okay. And cooling system on. Okay, well, we want recirc, fans low, vent flood. I think we are good on the overhead for now. We get our taxi lights on. And we'll get our strobe and landing lights on here in a moment. Local altimeter. Let me check out some brief here. Open airport, weather. Winds are 340 at 6 knots, visibility of 1.2 miles, clouds broken at 1,200. How do you have broken clouds at 1,200 feet? Does that mean broken clouds 1,200 feet above ground? And overcast at 2,000? Okay. Ceiling is 12,000 feet above ground level. Temperature is negative 6 degrees. Altimeter is 29 or 89. So we are going to want to be in nav mode. Can we not? There it goes. Nav mode. Our flight director. Oh, flight. Can we not turn the flight director on? Interesting. Nav mode's GPS. There are these arcs and HSIs we can use. Leave an HSI for now. What if we go to Toga? That brought our flight director back on. I don't know why the flight director keeps turning off. Is yours doing the same thing?
Hold on. Yeah, my light's just like twitching over there.
Okay. Well, we'll see what it looks like when we get to the runway. Alright, brought the flaps down to 15 degrees. Parking brake is set. Let's go ahead and... Wrong switch. Go to flight idle. Come on. There it goes. I wonder if that had something to do with it. Nope. Okay, we got our Trek IR on here. And let's run through that checklist one more time here. After start, engine instruments checked, generators on, external power off, avionics on, standby bus off, cooling heating is required, EPS light is out, ECS light switch is auto, the flap's 15 degrees. Okay, perfect. So I'm ready to taxi when you are. Hold those brakes. Park brake off. Release the brakes. You don't really need to give it any throttle. It just kind of takes off on its own here. Now the one thing that's kind of weird is if you hold the brakes, it turns a little steeper. The ground handling is kind of finicky. And Kyle, I don't know if you've taken off in this thing yet. I've got a couple takeoffs and landings, but if you don't get off the ground around 80 knots, it'll start drifting on the ground for you, and apparently that's by design.
Interesting.
Because apparently there's some sort of transition between going from ground, being on the ground and what's considered to be in the air, and that's just based on the speed, not necessarily if the wheels are on the ground. I'm not sure what caused that to happen, but oh well. Not a designer. There's Kyle, he's coming along. Tap those brakes a little bit. If anybody knows how to dim these lights just a hair, that'd be great.
Which lights are you talking about?
The floodlights for the instrument panel.
I think it's the one that's all the way to like the right on that column, or by the throttle quadrant.
Oh, it is. Nice. Perfect. Much better. Let's make sure I'm not running off the ground. Or taxiway. Alright, let's see if our flight directors will do anything here. Still clicking off. That could be problematic.
On. Yeah.
So before we get rolling here, let's see if we can figure out why the flight director is not staying on. Go ahead and park it here. Park and brake. When in doubt, check the manual. Flight director. Gauges the flight director in pitch attitude mode and wings level mode. Pressing flight director when the flight director is engaged will disengage all flight director modes if not engaged. That didn't help any. Alright, let's check their Discord real quick. Press. Flight director. Flight director won't stay on. No. I couldn't imagine it's some sort of a hotkey because I don't really have any hotkeys set up for autopilot. Let's make sure we're not missing something here. Slave. PCS auto. See my flight. There it goes. Okay. Turned the autopilot on and it fixed it, so that must be a bug. So we want to go into nav mode. And we are going to do toga. And actually, we're probably going to want to fly heading mode for a moment here. So let's get out on the runway and set our toga mode, or heading mode. Alright, strobe on and landing lights on. We'll say it does have quite the nice brightness in the lights here. Oh, I was wondering why it was so bright in here. Is your landing and taxi lights?
Oh yeah, I pulled right up behind you.
Right, line her up. Come to a stop. I'm gonna go heading mode, click the heading bug. Heading mode, okay. And we're going to want to climb out 2,000 feet per minute, so we'll have to hit arm. Or engage and then arm. Which if you hit engage now, what happens? Brings it out of toggle mode. Okay. Alright, toggle mode. Alright. Let's go. Bring in some power. And we want to watch the torque and the ITT on takeoff here. There's that drifting I'm talking about. In the air. I don't know who this is. Yaw damper on. And let's engage at vertical speed mode. And arm it. And one thing I have noticed, let's go ahead and go autopilot here since we're losing visibility real quick. I want to start getting rid of that rudder trim. Otherwise this thing will drift to the side. Let's go ahead and go into nav mode. Flaps up. Caution. Push your flaps. Flaps are up. I don't know what it's... Okay. Oh, maybe they were still in transition. Alright, we're avoiding the terrain nicely. 10,000 feet. We could turn our landing lights off, but we'll leave them on for now since we're in the thick of it here. Gauge vertical speed mode.
Why does my autopilot keep going off?
Try manually toggling it. See if that fixes you. We're still only climbing at 1,500 feet per minute. Let's set the vertical speed 2,000 feet per minute. Bring in a little bit of torque. ITT is fine. We want to keep that around 750. No terrain concerns. Okay, so I toggled the vertical speed and it went from 1,500 feet per minute to 2,000. So, a couple either bugs or I'm just ignorant. One of the two. I don't know why this keeps flashing at me.
EGPWS system OK.
Maybe we should have done our pre-flight. Still says terrain inhibit though. I wonder what's up with that. What do these buttons do? Oh, AHRS 1, 2.
Busted.
What's that?
I said busted.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the weather is crazy. Oh, here. This is kind of a cool feature. I don't know if you can see it still, but check out the prop circle, or the circles coming off the prop there from the... Oh, it just disappeared, but from the moisture. That's pretty neat. Haven't seen that effect before.
My CDI won't change.
Oh, have you hit the nav mode down underneath the annunciator panel? It's right, it says system and the nav. Hit nav, and it will change your HSI to GPS. I ran into the exact same thing you're doing right now. Oop, I won't do that. Why is this vertical speed engage and arm? Why does it keep kicking out for? Yeah, I've never seen it either. Check out the views here though, popping out of these clouds. Oh, that's beautiful. Kick this out of nav mode for some reason. Back to nav mode. GPS is confirmed. And autopilot must have kicked off when I accidentally put the control locks on there. A couple of things you don't want to accidentally click. That's a view I could get behind. Alright, so a couple bugs already. Autopilot mode is kind of finicky. Wouldn't turn the flight director on with autopilot off. And then our vertical speed mode seems to be kind of wonky. I don't know. It seems to be okay now. We're in vertical speed mode and it's armed at 25,000 feet. Let's just hope it actually captures. We can get our taxi and landing lights off. Amazing how much brighter it is up here. That's some cool weather right there. Grab a couple screenshots while we're at it. And tail number is definitely living up to the hype. Things are not going well for us so far, but we are alive and in the air. Able to grab some pretty sweet screenshots here. Alright, let's check to see what's gone wrong now. Seems to be following the flight path just fine. ITT's a little warm, let's bring her back down some. I think you want to keep that around 760s the max, I think. Constant. We're out of clouds now, so let's go ahead and get our inertial separator off. Should give us some torque back and lower our ITT some. Still not dropping quite enough, so let's pull that back some more. Definitely got to monitor the torque and ITT a little bit more than the TBM. Alright, we're slowing down below 150, so let's drop our vertical speed to 1,500 feet per minute now. Try to recover some of that speed. Wonder what caused our terrain to be inhibited. Sure if there's a switch I need to hit or what. Yep, that was our 1,000-foot alarm going up to 250. We'll pretend they give us some random squawk code here. Cabin, 8,000 feet. Which is what we have it set to, and pressure is good there. I think our autopilot trim, that light turns on every time it is adjusting the trim via the autopilot. You can see a little light bouncing around down here too. There is our 25,000 foot, and now we can go over to altitude mode. Oh, but actually automatically put it over, of course. I think I've got Kyle off to my right there, a little over 7 miles or so. if that's who that is. Yep, that is. Perfect. So that's functioning well.
My thing's going like in a circle right now.
Oh.
Like,
Alright guys, we got a moment of cruise time here. Let's run back here and see if we can figure out how to shut this door again. Alright, I clicked somewhere on the center of this cargo door light. Alright, the light's there, now how do we shut the door? Half the stream's gonna be me zigzagging my mouse around trying to figure out where the heck this door's at. Alright, don't open the cargo door because apparently it's almost impossible to shut unless you know the secret place to push to get it shut.
I don't.
What's that?
I haven't even like touched this thing since I bought it, so I don't know all the click spots. All I know is Overkill Simulations. When he closed his door, he shut off his fuel.
That's even better. Okay, so I'll tell you how to remove the ghost lock and sunshade and hide the crew cabin drawers, exits. And that's about all it tells you. Huh. Let me see if their Discord says something about a cargo door. I was able to click through the main panel to open the cargo door. And Simwork Studios is saying that's an unintended feature. You can click through things in MSFS. Oh, great. How do you close the cargo door? Opened it. Found the handle by the cockpit. Okay, so let's jump back up here to the cockpit. I'm afraid to push too many buttons over here. That could get interesting.
Yeah.
That's for the headrest. What's this do? Oh, that's a seat. Oh, it's that clicking through things again. Anybody needs to use the bathroom. Instead of using Gatorade bottle, we now have a toilet, which is nice. Kind of neat how it closes you in right here too. Oh, I don't think that's right. The mirror shows you what appears to be out front of the airplane, unless that's supposed to be a TV screen. That's interesting. I'll see if I can shut this without turning my fuel off or something goofy. Oh, something's beeping at us. Oh, that's that the barber pole is not working correctly. So we are close to our maximum Mach speed here, so let's pull the power back some. That should get rid of that beeping for us. There we go. Nope, just kidding. Pull back a hair more, how about that? Looking at the performance charts, we were somewhere around 9,000 pounds. And they're saying at 9,000 pounds, at 20, we'll call it 26,000 feet, we want to have a torque of 17.5. So we're definitely well over the cruise speed right now. Oh, that's the long range cruise. We want to get there fast. Maximum endurance cruise, maximum cruise performance. Here we go, 9,000 pounds, 24. Oh, that just gives me my speeds. Indicated airspeed should be 185. Okay, so we need to slow it up some. A little further here. Maximum performance cruise ISA. Okay, here we go. 26 at 9,000 pounds. We are looking at 13.7. Oh, maximum endurance. It doesn't give me power settings for maximum speed cruise. It just gives me the airspeed. So 185. We're about 189 or so right now. Pull it back just a hair more. We should be about there. Burning 388 pounds an hour. 2 hours of endurance. Let's see if we can get our constraints pulled up here, see where we need to be once we get closer into Denver here. So we can probably do direct. Let's see here. Let's pull up the chart and Navigraph. Four, 3, 4 right. Pin that. Pull that chart up. 3, 4 right. This is what we're going to be on. So Boeing. 9,000 feet. So we'll say a little before slope. So we'll go to hilly. What happens if I... Nope, can't do that. I was hoping that it would bring you to the flight plan. Let's go hilly, and we'll say 9,000 feet. Enter, save. And then let's go to our menu, utilities, VCalc. 9,000 feet at hilly. Say 2,000 feet per minute on the descent. Fire ray point. Hilly at 9,000. We got our vertical speed of 1288. About a little over 3.5 minutes before top of the sun. And pop the course on our Garmin here. Perfect. I've not done an actual ILS approach with this thing yet, so we might be fumbling around for a moment to get that to work, but I think we can just hit the nav mode to go to our nav frequency. That frequency is 1111, which is already on our standby, which is perfect. Go ahead and move that over. While we're at it, let's go ahead and change our fields a little bit here. Let's get rid of this track and make this our vertical speed required. And then let's get our wind speed here. Wind speed and direction. Isn't there another wind? It just shows the arrow. Maybe not. That might be all it is. Yeah, I think that's right. I think the box was throwing me off. What do you think so far, Diesel? And Eric? It's definitely different. I think once they work some of the kinks out of it, it'll be a great plane to fly. It hand flies really well. What about you, Kyle? What do you think?
I think it's pretty good right now. I mean, yeah, it just launched, so there is some stuff, but overall, I think it's pretty good.
Yep.
It's not like...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. There you go.
Some of it might be user error too. You know, I haven't really got too many flights in this thing obviously yet, so still learning it.
It's not like full steady mode, but it is kind of close to it, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely getting Getting it's good. It's got enough features to keep you interested,
Yeah.
and I think they're going to be releasing damage and failures and wear and tear and all that stuff as a kind of an add-on thing you can buy.
Oh, nice.
Look, Diesel says looks great, but there seem to be a lot of bugs. I agree. There's a few things that need to be fixed for sure. I know that some people are having the barber pole issue already, which SWS has admitted that that is a bug. Kind of amazing to me that something like that would make it all the way to the release version, though.
Mm.
So we need to go ahead and drop this down to 9,000 feet.
Is your like vertical speed flashing at you?
Yeah, are you out of altitude and hold mode?
Nope.
Mine was doing that earlier. Let's go ahead and start descending here. Let's go ahead and engage vertical speed. Whoa, got me up first. And let's drop this down to 1,900 feet per minute and arm it. Engage. Alright, this is annoying. Really? Vertical speed. Engage. And transfers back over. Okay, that's a little buggy. And arm that. So to capture at 9,000. Your vertical speed kind of weird too?
Yeah.
You gotta click it a few times to get it to work. Alright, let's go ahead and slow her up some here. Sean just got back, but I'm stuck on a flight right now. No problem, Sean. I plan to continue flying this afterwards. Advertised flight was for KASE to Denver. We may go Denver to KASE here in a little bit. There's that overspeed that we can't even see. We're gonna be in the lights or the clouds here again, so let's go ahead and get our landing lights turned back on. I know we're pretty high for that, but recognition lights on. What do those change?
Recog, they just flash.
What flashes?
So there's like light pods underneath the wings, and I believe the wheels too.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's just like a VFR enhancement or a identification enhancement.
Gotcha. We might change.
What you saying?
Well, we might change the time of day back so we get some more of that wonderful sunset again once we get to Denver and we do a turnaround.
Yeah.
If you're up for it.
Yep.
Oh, were you about to ask?
Are you past powder already?
I'm about to get to powder.
Okay, I'm 27 miles out.
Yeah, I'm 8 miles out. Cabin temperature is 24 degrees Celsius. What's that in Fahrenheit? About 75? Yep. Everybody's nice and warm in here today. Let's take a look at our checklist real quick. Cruise, power, okay, descent, cabin pressure, and rate. It's automatically adjusting for us. Transition level. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to do while we were talking. Set my standard pressure. Whoops. Luckily, we weren't too far off the standard, so not a big deal. Sean, I got Kyle with me right now. I don't know if you've flown with Kyle yet.
I don't think so. I don't think we've flown. Haven't flown with you guys much.
Okay. Okay, so approach has recog lights on. Radios and nav aids set and identified. Altimeter set. Pressurization set. Inertial separator open. And approach briefing complete. Once we get to Hilly, we are going to turn and head towards Boeing. We should be able to do it direct once we get there. Let's make sure that it is in our flight plan here. Boeing, perfect. Looks like we can actually decrease our vertical speed just a hair here. Bring it to 1,700 feet per minute, make sure it's actually following that, which it appears to be. And I can't see anything. Starting to see some lights on the ground though, so that's good. Alright, Denver weather. Local altimeter is 2982. See, my vertical speed is now flashing. I mean, I don't know why it's flashing. If there's no reason for it to be flashing, it should be stuck in vertical speed mode until I get to 9,000 feet. Keeping that speed right around 185. We're about 186 knots right now. Since we don't have the barber pole to go by, we'll ignore how fast we can actually go until we get closer to the ground. Once we get to around 10,000 feet, we should be able to bump up the speed some. Alright, Denver is a higher altitude airport. The runway at Denver is 5,354 feet. So it'll be a little less than 4,000 feet in the air once we get to Hilly. Just read through the checklist here just to kind of get an idea of what we have to expect. Of course, landing gear 3 green, so once the gear's down. Foot brakes tested. I don't know if I've ever seen that on a checklist before. Landing and taxi lights are on, which they are. Landing lights are on, at least. Taxi lights might not be on yet. No. We'll wait for our gear to be down for that. Flaps as required, autopilot and L dampener off, and cabin pressurization 0 differential pressure. So what we can actually do is set our cabin altitude for just a hair over 5,000 feet right there, so that it should be pretty much 0 once we get down there. Coming up on Hilly, and we're going to do a direct to Boeing.
Sync rate.
Sync rate.
Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate.
It's yelling sync rate at me for some reason.
Sync rate. 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 Pull up.
Why is it yelling at me to pull up?
Pull up. Pull up. Pull.
That was interesting. We're well above the ground right now and it's yelling at me to pull up.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Oh, okay. We're actually only like 2,000 feet above the ground where we're at right now, that's why. Coming up on 9,000 feet. Some train coming into view there.
Sync rate.
Which is probably why it's yelling
Sync rate.
sync rate at us. Bring that up to 500, and we're going to do a direct to Boeing. And activate. Oh, did you see that HSI just spin around? That was wild. We can actually pull in some power here and get moving a little quicker. I should say pushing some power. That's all that was probably because we put that 9,000 foot restriction on hilly. Without checking our charts. Looks like we should be closer to 12,000 feet where we're at right now. Alright, let's make sure this captures 9,000 feet for us. And appears to be doing so. Awesome. And it's going into altitude mode now. And then at Boeing, we want to be at 9,000 feet, and then chord 7,000. So our final approach fix is 7,000 feet. Plenty of performance to work with here, so let's speed her back up. Still got all of our anti-icing on. Well, it's showing rain on my window right now. What is the outside air temperature? Where is that displayed at? You see that anywhere, Kyle? Oh, here it is. -7. It's on the engine instruments.
Oh, yeah.
Pushing a little bit more power. Let's see what this thing can do. Probably going to be ITT limited right now still. Looking for about 750. What? That's weird. It thinks that the headrest is in my way. I don't know about your airplane, but mine's getting really laggy. There
I
is
don't have
our...
anything yet.
What's that?
I don't have anything yet. Lag-wise.
No, it's just... It's not bad. Still very playable, but it's definitely lower than what I'm used to. Diesel says, I'm having issues with the Honda Jet. For some reason, it won't climb with flight level change. I haven't flown the Honda Jet in so long. I don't remember it being very difficult to change altitude. Have you tried just vertical speed? Or even speed mode? So this thing will scoop just fine at these altitudes. So let's go ahead and start pulling some power back so we can capture this localizer just fine. I think I accidentally turned up some of the map detail there to make it a little easier to see if we can turn that down. This should capture the GPS path first. We'll arm approach and go to VLOC. There's the airport. We're actually going to be landing on the left side of the airport on this right runway right here. Pull a little bit more power out. So definitely don't make sure, or definitely want to make sure that we don't overshoot into someone else's area. Somebody down here close to the ground. I set the original altitude to my cruise, it works fine, but if I have to climb to a lower altitude first, then cruise, it won't work. Huh, that's odd. Well, that being the Honda Jet diesel, I don't remember off the top of my head. And it's been probably a few months since I've flown it. Let's slope a bit more. Let's go ahead and get a few checklist items ahead here. Taxi lights on. Before landing, approach recog lights on. Altimeter, pressure, inertial separator open. Inertial separator. And crew briefing complete. Doing a left turn here, which it's beginning. Let's go ahead. Our approach mode. Nope, it's not gonna let me yet. Guess you're gonna have to go back to the Phoenix. Yeah, the Phoenix just works, man. Everything about that thing just works. It's wonderful. Slope a bit more here. We start pulling in some flaps. There's definitely something to it that we can figure out. We want to go into vertical speed mode here. Start our descent to 7,000. And we go into approach mode now. Nope. What if we change our CDI to V-lock? There she goes. Okay. Seem to have fixed it for us. Looking for 7,000 feet at Ford, which is our next waypoint right there. Let's pull some more power and start getting some flaps in.
Sink rate. Sink rate.
Oh, that sink rate is really aggravating. Alright, flaps on. Here's our glide slope. Think about doing a Vetsim flat and Honda Jet. Glad I didn't. Oh, yeah, well.
Sink rate.
Always a good idea to know
Sink
other
rate.
ways to do things. Because when things go south, which they are most likely to do on Vetsim, always good to know how to do other things. I'm gonna get our landing gear down. Let's go ahead and get a little ahead of the curve here. Bit below our glide slope, so we should have no problem capturing that once we get to it. Alright, go around procedure here. If we screw something up,
Sink rate.
is
Sink rate.
climb to 5800, left turn at 5800 to 10,000 on a heading of 270. So we can go ahead
Sink
and
rate.
dial in
Sink rate.
270.
Sink rate. Sink rate.
Did not capture our altitude. Let's hold that altitude there. Watch your speed. It's going to level off very abruptly. Alright, heading 270. And we are wanting to climb to 10,000 feet for our go around. Pull in some more flaps. Should be about to capture glide slope. Look at this thing yawing off to the right like that. Keep it around 100 knots. 40 degrees of flaps. Thinking about getting a small jet for some connecting flight hops, but don't know which is best. Honda jet's a good one. CRJ's another really fun one. Alright, we have grabbed the glide slope, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and slow back up a little bit here. Track IR. Reset our views real quick. Alright, gear down, flaps full. Go autopilot off, yaw damper off. Get a bit of a rudder trim down here. The Vision Jet is a lot of fun. That was the other one I was flying. I think I got the trim set just right. What's going on, Hector? How are you? CJ4 is a good one. That's a free option if you've got the... I think you have to have the premium deluxe edition. Little blower glide slope. There we go. We are just checking out the PC-12 here, Hector. Finding all the bugs in it already. Somebody flying off to my left right there. Alright, gear check, gears down, 3 green. Clear to land. Go ahead and pull power. This thing sinks like a rock when you pull power. Bring that nose back around. Little floaty. And we're on the ground. Reversers. And back to beta mode. Should be able to do a right turn here in a moment. Butter. Butter and waffles and pancakes, Diesel. You gotta get it all in there. We will take this taxiway right here. Go find us a random spot to park. And we'll reload the airplane. We'll go through the whole startup procedure next time because obviously you need
Warning, trim.
Because there's a few things that are wrong. Alright. Before we park, we will want to reset our trim and everything, but we'll go through the shutdown procedures in a moment. Let me grab the charts, figure out where I'm going. Not mistaken, I think General Aviation is off to our left here. See if I'm right. The lights on this thing on the ground are fantastic. Oh, this is a United hangar. We're gonna hang out with the United guys. Where is the GA area? So I keep looking at my charts and not paying attention to where I'm going. We'll pretend we're bringing some United mechanics to their home, where they're going to be slaving away for the next few days. they do now. These will, no, we'll even go park in the hangar. Hangar 8. CRG 900 is only 20 bucks. Last time you checked, it was a lot higher. Well, you could get the whole bundle for more. That may be what you remember. All right, bring her to a stop. Go park and brake. Get our lights on. Dome lights. Ground idle. Okay, after landing, condition levers to ground idle. That's why we're tacking so fast. Flaps to 0. Exterior lights as required. We are pretty much stopped here, so we turn our landing lights off. And our strobe. And recog. Ice protection off. Cooling system off. Get our heat off. Trim set for takeoff. So let's get our rudder trim set in the green here. Our elevator trim isn't moving. That's good. That's another problem. Aileron trim's already good. Will it move though? That's the question. Okay, aileron trim moves, but the elevator trim will not move. So, definitely plagued with some bugs. Park brake set, ECS off. ECS to off. Taxi lights off, we've already turned that off. Transponder, we can go to VFR. And turn altitude reporting off. In fact, we can probably just turn this whole thing off. Cooling heating off, avionics off.
Warning, avionic bus.
Warning, avionic bus. Generators stable. Seems stable to me. ITT stable. ITT is stabilized. Condition lever to cut off.
Warning, essential bus.
And there she goes. Beacon off. EPS switch off. Control wheel lock installed. Battery switch off. Oxygen off. Parking brake off. Well, we'll leave the parking brake on here right now. And that's pretty much it. Pretty easy to shut down. Alright. So, since we flew that entire thing with our cargo door open that we could not close after we started it, we're going to reload the flight real quick and we'll do a turnaround and head back to KASE. If that's alright with you, Kyle.
Yeah, we gotta go make some ravioli for dinner, so
Okay.
I might jump back on probably, but
No problem. Sean, you want to hop in here? Let's see, we were at the United. Oh, can we spawn in where we were? That'd be awesome. Give that a try. Go to sim brief and invert our flight plan real quick. Flight. Let's go KDEN to KASE. And then Pilatus, generate flight. That'll be ready when we load back in here in a moment. Please load us in the hangar. Ha! That's awesome. I didn't realize that was a parking spot. We're a little crooked compared to how we parked, but I'll take it. Okay, let's so we can actually see some of the weather we're going to be flying through. So it gets dark at 4:38. Let's go back to about 3 o'clock or so. It'll work. Get this out of our way. This one out of the way. And let's run through our pre-flight checklist this time so that we get the whole thing. Oh. Alright, these click spots are a little aggravating. I don't want to join, but I would be too fast or too slow. Well, shoot. Why is it? The click spot should be somewhere like above. Instead of the whole window. There goes Kyle. I'm on descent from a TDV flight. Okay, well, if you want to join, I don't know how long it's going to take you, but we're going to be a few minutes getting started again here. Sean, Diesel, if you want to give it a go, you can. If you beat us, you beat us. It's no big deal. Okay. So let's run through this whole thing. Because there are some things on this checklist specifically that you will miss if you don't do the pre-flight. So landing gear handle down. Circuit breakers are in. And we're going to presume they're in over there. Battery switch off. External power switch off. Non-essential non-essential bush to on. That's override. We'll leave that to auto. And then standby bus to on. There we go. That's what we needed to do. External lights, electric system as required. Let's go ahead and get our nav lights turned on. Standby bus switch off. Interesting. Okay. Battery on. 25.4 on each. Battery volts greater than 24. We're good there. Non-essential bush. Override. External lights on. Let's go ahead and turn them all on. Taxi landing. Recog. Make sure they are all happy. Remove that. Gets rid of the heat heat covers and everything. Everything looks good out here. And we can turn those all back off. We'll leave the nav lights on for now. Non-essential bus to auto. What is it currently in? So it doesn't really say. Oh, this override to auto. Auto. There we go. Fire switch test. I didn't see this do anything earlier in this specific mode. So the pusher and the non-essential, or the pusher and the fire didn't really seem to do anything. What, you're in a hangar? Yeah, this is, oddly enough, this is a parking spot in the United hangar. This is where we pulled into when we got here, and then there's actually a spawn point here for it, which made it even better. External lights checked. Non-essential bus, auto, fire switch test, lamp switch test. We can test the lamp switch. Everything looks good. Boost pumps on, then auto. On. Back to auto. Ignition on, and then auto. You can hear it clicking. looking. Ignition on and then auto, which we just did. EIS test. And run our test on this. Then we'll want to reset our fuel quantity, so this is a good time to go ahead and load our aircraft with our sim brief profile. Fetch to get the latest one. Block fuel 1,036 pounds, so we must not have as much of a tailwind this time. More of a headwind. 1,036. Let's take a little extra just in case. And Sean says, and I found out that I can push my sim to 4K and get better performance than native 2K. Yeah, because you push more off your CPU and more onto your GPU. That's a wonderful way to get more performance. That's the same idea as, you know, taking your TLOD settings and OLOD settings and maxing those out for your CPU, and then maxing out your graphics in a lot of situations will give you ultimately better performance and graphics. So it's kind of a counterintuitive way to go about doing things. Takeoff weight, 8,447 pounds. That's enough. And that is set. So now we'll want to reset our fuel. I'm going to do a long press this time, see if it'll automatically take care of it for us. 989 pounds, perfect. That was a little less than what we loaded. I'm assuming, like I said before, that was because of the usable fuel. Oxygen pressure gauge. Got plenty of oxygen. Oxygen to auto. Battery switch off. Not real sure of the purpose behind turning those off, but EFIS, CM, BST switches to normal. Normal. AHRS 1 and 2 to slaved. Slave. EPS test. Kind of scared to push my TLOD back to 350, though I have it at 200 right now. With that CPU, I run 350 all the time. Same CPU as me. Alright, battery test is on. Back to off. Cabin pressure switch, auto, guarded. Auto. And guarded. Yep. Trim and flap interrupt switch is guarded and in normal. They are. Oxygen supply handle on. Oxygen mask test. I haven't found a way to test those. Cockpit cabin light switches is required. We're good right now. Lavatory check. Make sure nobody's in there. I think everybody is in their seats and good. Yep, no problems there. Lavatory's shut. Exterior pre-flight. We have our cabin, our cargo door closed, and we're not going to push that button unless we accidentally do it again. All the covers are removed. Everything looks good on the outside. Alright, control wheel lock removed. We've already removed that. Parking brake set on my Bravo and set in the sim. Chocks have been removed. Fuel caps are secure. Crew seats and seat belts adjusted and secured. Overhead electrical switches off. And standby bus 2 on. De-icing switches, inertial separator open. Cooling and heating is off. Seatbelt and no smoking signs. Circuit breakers are in. We've already checked those. EPS switch is test and armed. Armed. We already tested it a minute ago, so we're good there. ECS switch is off. Off. Friction lock checked. Free movement of the controls. Ignition lever is all the way back. We don't want to blow our engine up again like we did first time, diesel. Battery switch back to on. External power is required. No need for that right now. We got over 25 volts. Nav lights 2 on. Nav lights are on. Fuel quantity and totalizer. We need to check that. 189 pounds. We're good to go there. And a gear position lever is 3 green. And our annunciator panel shows appropriate systems. So essential bus, AV bus, Gen 1, 2 off, pusher, and ECS. That's all good. Engine start, beacon light. Beacon is on. Prop area is clear. And engage the starter. Let's watch that ITT temperature, make sure we don't blow anything up. NG's 15%. Let's go to ground auto. Much better this time. Diesel, if you're still with us, we didn't blow this one up. It should take care of itself the rest of the way. Now that the ITT is stabilized and dropping, slowly rising back up. And we're good. Perfect. Engine instruments checked. Everything's happy here. NG stabilized. Generators to on. External power is off. Avionics to on. Standby bus off. Cooling and heating is required, so we want heating today. And we're going to turn our cooling system on to recirc. EPS light is out. Is out. EPS switch to auto. EPS switch to auto. There's an armed and off test. Okay, I'm gonna assume that means armed. ECS to auto. Auto. Keep that temperature cool. It's at 22 degrees internal. And flaps 15. Before taxi inverter switched. I don't know what the inverter means. Gen 1. I'm not sure what inverter means. Oh, inverter. Oh, from battery to Gen 1. Okay. So we want it on an inverter. Gen 1. Okay. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, maybe when you are on external power, you can go to battery, and that'll do the inverter. Oh, okay. Maybe that's why our external power earlier wasn't working. Okay. That's not on the checklist, but that's something we may need to think about next time. Push test complete. We'll try the pusher test here. And I think we bring the throttle forward some. It shakes. Bring the power back. It shakes. And turn the pusher off. Fire test.
Fire, fire, fire.
That works. And now we can set our avionics. Go to our flight plan. Menu. Import from SimBrief. Should be KDEN to KASE. It is. And then our procedures for this. Our approach. I think it is the RNAV 15 Zulu. Is the one we want to fly. Let's just double check here. RNAV F. Yeah, see, that brings you off centered. So KASE has a special 15 Zulu RNAV that you have to have certain approvals to fly, and you're not given the charts for. So I don't actually have a Navigraph chart because it's not a published chart. Transition, it's probably DBL if I were to guess. And let me re-import my flight plan into Navigraph real quick just to make sure. Yep, DBLs are transitions. So load that approach in. And then our departure was the Rocky 5. I don't think there's an arrival. Nope. Go back to our map, just take a look at this and make sure it looks correct. We're going to be departing runway 8, which is all the way down here. So we'll do runway 8, and we'll do a left turn onto our nav track. And pretty much do a direct to DBL, maybe. Yep. Okay. Avionics are checked. Let's see if our flight director did that same thing earlier. So maybe this is because we need to do the autopilot trim test first. So turn our autopilot on. Let's put it in heading mode. It should start moving over. It does. Okay. So that may be why it didn't work earlier. Let's confirm our trims are correct, all in the greens. They are. Cabin pressure controller. We are going to be climbing to... Check the operational flight plan here. 240. I'll give us a little below 7,000 feet. Actually, we can go ahead and go to 7 because KASE is pretty close to 7. Transponder flight ID. Go ahead and turn our Garmin GTX 330 on. Altitude, we're gonna pretend we got a squawk code. Confirm it over here. That is transponding. Altitude pre-select. We're going to. I don't think there's. Okay, yeah, 10,000 for our initial. We're not on VAT sim, so we're just gonna go straight to 24,000. This little knob behind, or the larger knob behind the little knob is a little hard to get to. And we're gonna want to climb out at 2,000 feet per minute, so we can get that. Heading mode. Runway 8 is... Oh, hang on a minute. Okay, yeah. Runway 8 is actually right here in front of us. 083. So we'll do heading mode. Flight director on. Uh-oh. Nope, that's still a weird bug. I don't know why it's doing that. Can't keep my flight director on for some reason. Alright, so we'll have to hand fly a little bit until we get rolling again. AHRS 1 and 2 checked. Both are enslaved. Fuel quantity at 966 pounds. And appropriate notifications on the annunciator. Nope, still not. Alright, so let's get our taxi lights on. There's inertial separators on, probes are on. I think we can take off without any other de-ice options on. Flight controls free and correct. Full back, forward, left, right, and rotor pedals. Interesting thing about this aircraft is the rotor pedals are linked to the ailerons. Flight instruments check and set, and go around tow mode. Nope, that doesn't fix the flight trajectory either. Okay, so we got tow mode. Altitude pre-select. Engage the vertical. Oh, well, that'll take us out of tow mode. So let's leave tow mode enabled. Heading bug, electric trim is confirmed that everything's in green. EGPWS test. Test.
EGPWS. System OK.
Okay, crew briefing. Going to depart runway 8, and we'll vector ourselves. Let's go to the north of the airport, actually, now I'm looking at it. And do a direct to Delta Bravo Lima, DBL. Flaps 15%. Confirmed. Lights as required. Ice protection as required. Condition lever, flight idle. Oh, you know what? We're still... Let's try taxiing with the ground idle here. That way we can take advantage of the beta mode. Because those were the final items before we got to enter the runway. So taxi, we're going to do straight out, do a little right turn, and an immediate left and runway. It'll be right there. Check IR, reset the view. Hold the brakes, park and brake off. Put the beta range right there. There she goes. Left, clear right. One thing about this aircraft I've noticed is that the flight control sensitivities, they are almost linear compared to what we're used to. We're having to put curves in and whatnot. Go here and take a left onto Mike and be taxi to hold short on runway 8. I think the rudder pedal setting I have right now has those curves in it, which might be why it feels like I have to really push the rudders to get it to do anything. Well, that little bouncing back and forth is the airplane doing that. It's not me. There are charts for Localizer 15 diesel, but that RNAV that I programmed in is the best approach, and it's not allowed to be flown by people unless they've been trained and approved to fly it because of how unsafe that airport is to fly into. So I like to use it because it's in the GPS systems. But I just can't show you the chart because I can't see the chart. Something to drink real quick, sorry about that. Alright, here's where we should be doing our final items checklist, so we'll run through that one more time. Okay, let's go park and brake. Flight controls, braking correct, we've already checked that. Flight instruments checked. This flight director is set to go around. It is. Altitude pre-select. We got 24,000 feet, 2,000 feet, vertical speed. That's checked. Heading bug is 083. Electric trim, confirmed one more time. Confirmed. Actually, the rotor trim changed. Look at that. Okay. Flaps 15 degrees, lights as required. Turn our landing lights on, strobe lights on. Sorry, I'm looking to the left. The chart's off to my left here. I need to print one out. Flaps 15, lights as required. Ice protection, we'll worry about that in the air. Condition lever, flight idle. And appropriate cause. Flight idle. Turn rig off, clear left. Clear right. Let's get up in the air here. Start bringing in that power, or ignore that guy at the end of the runway there. So yeah, it kind of wiggles back and forth. I'm putting pretty smooth inputs into my rotor pedals and it's bouncing all over the place. Alright, 80 knots in the air. Now, it might be because the yaw dampener was on. Still can't put our flight director on, which could be problematic. How's the rate gear up? Over 100 knots, flaps up. Hang on flat for a moment so we can figure out this autopilot situation. Go ahead and arm our vertical speed. There she goes. Autopilot engaged. Get that vertical speed working. And go into heading mode. And we need to watch our torque and ITT. Pull it back just a hair here in preparation. Go to traffic and let's do a left turn. Go around the north side of the airport. Okay, that went a lot smoother than the first time. Tunnel lights will turn on. Hopefully they'll brighten it up a little bit for you guys. Starting to get into some visible precipitation, so let's get the propeller on. Boots for 3-minute cycle. Left windshield and right windshield. Keep turning around the airport here. Be well above anybody on the final. Still don't understand why this blinks. The vertical speed is armed. And it's set to 24,000 feet. Once we get past the airport, we can do a direct to DBL, and we'll turn in first. Alright, over 10,000 feet. Go ahead and turn our landing and taxi lights off. Let's do our after takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up. Landing gear is up. Yaw dampener is on. Landing and taxi lights are off. Flaps are set to 0, confirmed. And it indicates... where was the indicator for that? Saw it a minute ago. Where you at? Overlook. Oh, there it is. Flaps there. Eyes protection as required. We've got that set. And confirm that we are climbing. We're set to 7,000 feet. 7,000 feet right here. That pressure is climbing on the exterior. And cabin is staying the same. So we're good there. Check our torque and ITTs. ITTs 760 or 764. Bring it back down to 750. And we'll have to keep an eye on it as we continue through our climb. Climb power is set. Pressurization is pressurizing. Engine instruments checked. Okay, next item will be our transition altitude. It'll be 18,000 feet for the United States. Let's go ahead and start heading towards DBL here. And let's go direct DBL. Activate. Confirm we are in GPS mode. CDI is GPS nav mode. Perfect. Check our instruments. ITT is rising again, so get that back down to 760. Or below. I find it interesting that the ITT keeps rising that way. Maybe it's the thinner air. Guess we pulled out of here too much, huh? Alright, we're down to about 150 knots on the climb rate, so let's drop this down to 1500 feet per minute. Confirm it's matching here on the autopilot, which it is. Alright, DBL. Okay, we want to be at, is it Sitwo? Sitwo at 14,000 feet, so we can go ahead, go to our VCALPs, 14,000 feet, and we'll do 2,000 feet per minute. Target waypoint, Sitwo. Back to our map, and it shows us our top of descent right there. Perfect. Which that's probably going to change as we continue climbing. Alright, over to standard pressure. Still climbing up between 150 and 160, which is ideal for a cruise climb. Confirm our cabin is staying at 7,000 pounds. It is. Nothing on the annunciator that we wouldn't expect other than pusher. Can't figure out how to get rid of that. Definitely a fun aircraft to fly. It's much busier than we're used to. This is a lot more involved than flying the Phoenix. Kyle, how'd your landing go? Or did you disappear on me? I think Kyle disappeared. Top climbs 240, ITT is back up to 771, so let's bring that back down to 750-ish. Thing sneaks up on you. There's a lot of managing of the ITT on this thing for sure. Because we keep having to pull our power back, we're gonna have to drop our climb rate again. Let's go down to 1,200 feet per minute here. We're almost like a cruise here. Endurance of an hour and 59 minutes. Outside temperature is negative 40. Which I believe we can turn our anti-icing off now. And that should help our ITT. As soon as I say that, it jumps up a couple degrees. We'll power back a little bit more. That was a field alarm for our cruise altitude of 240. Good to hear that. It means we're going to level off. Next on the checklist is cruise power set, fuel sufficient and balanced, engine instruments are checked, cabin pressure stable and in the green, and cabin temperature is appropriate. So we are stable at 7,000 feet. Temperature is 24 degrees. Cruise power will set once we level off. Fuel is balanced. And we've got an endurance of 2 hours, which is way more than what we need. DC volts are happy. Gen A is way higher than Gen... Oh, wait. DC A, DC A. Yeah, Gen 1 is very high. I wonder if that's normal. I'm not sure. Alright, leveling off at 240. We're looking for about 180 knots or so that we don't bust through our Mach speed until we get the barber pole fixed. That's a glitch. This should be dropping down to show us our maximum speed, so we'll keep decreasing the power here a little bit until we're about 180. I think 185 or so for this altitude to be okay also, but we'll just stick it at 180. Actually surprised that our ground speed is not much higher. Thanks to the Phoenix, I can't fly a plane that requires me to push a single button after takeoff. I understand. I understand. Should have a beautiful approach into Aspen. But yeah, this, as you can see here, Diesel, this is a lot more involved. Now, this flight's going a lot better than my first flight because we learned a lot on the first flight. But definitely a lot to monitor, and I can only imagine until this becomes muscle memory, having ATC in my ear yelling at me to do things. Man, probably get a little overwhelming real quick. I get a cool view over the nose, but that's about as close as I can get. Definitely screenshot worthy though. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but Sim Update, was it 14 or 15, whatever we just went through, they changed the colors of the sky just a hair. Looks a lot better. It's not as oversaturated. It feels more appropriate and realistic. I'm definitely enjoying it a lot. As far as charts into KASE, it gets a little complicated. Like I was talking to you earlier, Diesel, you can use the localizer chart, probably one of the closer ones to being correct, but it's definitely not right. Well, we're in cruise here. I'll be right back. Go take care of some business. Wait a minute. Everybody can still see me. People would probably be panicking if they saw the pilot stepping out. Especially if there's only one. Okay guys, I'll be right back. Oh, Diesel, if you were eating Taco Bell and then hopping on a PC-12, everyone on the airplane would hate you. Every single person. You wouldn't be a happy person on there with you. Go and hang out with the crew back here. Really need to adjust my keyboard setting to be a little. Well, that's wild. Oh, okay. Found a new keyboard keybind. All right, coming up on our top of descent. About 40 miles away. We'll be targeting 14,000 feet. So, descent and transition level will be our next items. Or, I'm sorry, descent, cabin pressure, transition level, altimeter. And we'll get to our approach, which will be our recog lights. Radios and nav aids set and identified. Altimeter set, pressurization set, initial separator open. And crew approach briefing complete. Can't really look at the charts since we don't have a chart for this, but we're going to assume that these constraints are correct. We'll get to Sitwo at 14,000 feet, Nalde 13, Waslow at 11.9, and then what is that? On cap? Yeah, on cap. 10.8, and then we'll be on our, into our approach mode, or our RNAV. Still don't know why this is terrain inhibit on. Maybe, I guess when you have it on, that's on. It's just saying it's active right now with it just it being lit up. HRS1. So this should be auto. Okay. The oxygen actually lowers. So I presume that this meant off was the left, auto was the center, and on was the right, but maybe not, because we were getting that annunciator down there. Super VCalc, top of descent in 6 minutes, 41 seconds. And we've also got our vertical speed required right here. Slight crosswind, 10 knots. .342, and I think it was getting dark around 4:40, 4:30 or so. Those drop-down masks can be used for more than one emergency. Yeah. You need that fresh air when the Taco Bell hits you. I do like having the Garmin 650 in here along with the 750. Kind of nice. You could have the flight plan pulled up here, or any of the other screens that you normally have over here, weather even. That'd be handy for us. Keep it on traffic just to have that TCAS, since we don't have any other indication of it other than just boxes around here. But we're zoomed so far out, it's kind of hard to see anybody. And I guess we could have also, you know, done our VCalc right here too, instead of having it right there. Just a bunch of different options. ATC, updating. Denver Center. Oh, you know what? I wonder if this is accurate to VATSIM. Because this would be super handy on VATSIM to have this screen right here. So let's look at Atlanta. Denver Center is actually on. They are 127650. 127650. Look at that. That'd be wonderful. So we could actually dial that in. Oh, wait a minute. It's actually pulling in VATSIM. When did that happen? It's awesome. I didn't realize that. That must have been, it's probably been around for a while. I've just now noticed it. But when I was flying the TBM the other night on VATSIM, this would have been super handy to have. Yeah, so that's why we had center. That's amazing. If you... Yeah, okay, cool. You can click on these and dial it in. Oh, that's amazing. So if we were to connect the VATSIM, which I'm not because we're in that area, we could dial the comm in and actually get the ATIS for Denver. Mike will be so happy to see this. They get the in range too. Is KASE actually on? I don't see him. But it is Friday night, so, you know, Friday night ops. Looking at the charts here, though, Chicago is loaded up right now. That'd be amazing. Like I said, Mike's gonna be super happy. We flew to TBM on VATSIM for the first time ever, and it was interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and start a descent prep here. We're going to be descending at 2,000 feet per minute. We're going down to 14,000 feet. I think I may have figured out how this thing operates. It's a bit different than a TBM. Plenty of fuel on board, endurance 2 hours still. Go ahead and bring our weather back up. I'm sorry, not the weather, our traffic. This airspace does get a little busy. We should be landing with a very nice sunset. I think there's plans to give us a nav arc like we're used to seeing on like the Phoenix or BMDG or any of the airliners pretty much, versus just the HSI or this whatever this arc is. I need to do more VATSIM flights. It's just so too stressful. The more you do it, the easier it gets. You're doing the exact same thing over and over and over. It's all it is. So just getting comfortable doing that is really all you need to do. Now this is really interesting. Why is the word altitude sideways? Huh. Yeah, Diesel, if you want to do more VATSIM flights, we do them quite a bit. Not so much on stream during the group flights, just because it's so much communication going on. It's kind of hard to follow along, but feel free to join us sometime. Alright, we are coming up on our top of descent. I'm looking for 2,000 feet per minute. Is there a way to range that arc out, maybe? Oh yeah, see, that's not doing anything right now. Brightness. Decision height. Maybe that doesn't work with the arc. Oh, it's popping up right here. Okay. Decision height. 9840, which I don't know if is accurate. You know what? I'm not going to dial that in. That'll take forever. Turn that back off. Alright, we are at top of descent, so let's go engage. Drop this down. Let's see. No, it didn't quite work the way I expected it to. Let's go down 2,000 feet per minute. Engage. I have no idea why that is so finicky. And we are not descending. Yeah, this thing needs some work. It doesn't function at all like you would expect it to. Let's pull the power back so we don't overspeed. Saw that there was a VATSIM ops channel. Is that just for VATSIM group flights? It's not necessarily group flights. We will eventually do group flights in there. But the main purpose of that is, if you read the rules of the Discord channel, it's to prevent people from hopping in there and just start having random conversations, especially when pilots are, 10,000 feet or below. It gets really busy. It's just a place to go, so the people who enter that channel know that people are flying on VATSIM, so not to, bother them with unnecessary communication is the main point of that. So if you want the role and you're comfortable on VATSIM, then you can message myself or Mike and we can give you the role. Alright, let's go ahead and get our boots, propeller, windshield pressures on, and inertial separator. What just beeped at us? Pusher ice mode. The ice boots. Set 3-minute intervals. As we were picking up ice pretty heavily on the way out of Aspen. Make sure we got everything on. We can get our landing lights on. Check the altimeter. KASE. It is 29904. 4. 4. For everyone's sake, I'm going to do a couple more VATSIM flights before I join that. Oh, no, you can hop in there. Like I said, we're not streaming typically. Usually we are asking each other questions and we have each other's backs. So it's actually a really good place to go learn VATSIM. And less of a, kind of a everyone's got their eyes on you kind of situation. So things are going to get really busy really quick here in a moment. Let's take a look at our before landing checklist, approach checklist. So approach, recog, lights on. Recog. We'll go ahead and turn our taxi lights on just so that we don't have to worry about it. This is a very steep approach at 6 degrees, so it can get interesting really quickly. Radios and nav aids identified. Altimeter has been set. Pressurization. The runway altitude is 7838, so we can actually increase our pressure to 8,000 feet. There's the separator. Open. Open. Crew and approach briefing complete. So we're going to basically follow our nav in, and hopefully we won't do a go-round. Go-round instructions are right turn climbing to 14,000 feet on a heading of 300. No ILS on the nav, so no worries there. We are a little behind the vertical speed requirements. Let's pull some power back. Try to get slowed up a bit more here. They're really going to be slow once we get to the top of the mountains. do have terrain mode on, so we should see some of that popping up every now shortly. Oh, there's some of it right now. Look at that. Coming up on 14,000 feet. You have to be a consistent VATSIM pilot or just whenever? It's just whenever. I don't fly VATSIM every day, and I typically fly it a couple times a week. Okay, we need to be about 13,000 for our next altitude. Now, why this shot? Oh, never mind, I misread that. Go down to 13. We'll wait a moment here. This is some sketchy terrain in this area. And we are slowed up nicely for this approach into Aspen. I'm gonna keep it nice and slow through here just because of how dangerous this area is, and we can't see anything right now, so it's even more interesting. There's literally mountains all around us right now. Alright, we're going to go down to 13,000 feet. Engage. And arm. Left turn. Go and pull the power back and get our first set of flaps in. Look at that. That's scary. Yep, 10 degrees flaps. Go down to 11,900 feet. Cage. Arm. Gotta wiggle the vertical speed knob around to get it to do anything. Let's go ahead and pull the power back. So we can get our next degree of flaps in. Okay, sounds cool. I might look into it. I could learn more about VATSIM and not get yelled at. Yeah, I mean, can't promise you won't get yelled at a controller, but you're not going to get yelled at us by us. It's terrifying yet incredible. Absolutely. Okay, let's go flaps 20 degrees. We're going to go ahead and get our gear down. Go ahead and get this prepared. We want some more power. We need to go down to 10,800 feet. Gauge vertical speed. Arm it. And this is a 6-degree approach, so we're going to go ahead and go full flaps and keep our speed down as low as possible. Just a nice, beautiful day in Aspen. Them controllers kind of scary sometimes.
Sync
the
rate.
big teddy bears.
Sync rate.
Sync rate.
Sync rate.
We'll leave the terrain
Sync rate.
on and let
Sync rate.
it yell
Sync
at us
rate.
because we might need it to save our life in a minute.
Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate.
Get some power, keep that thing around 100 knots. We're full flaps right now. Probably actually get away with 30. I'm used to flying a much heavier aircraft than this. And then 99.20 after this. 9,900. And we should be able to go into approach mode. Which it armed. Perfect. Here's our vertical glide path, so should capture that here shortly. Sync rate on approach, classic Aspen. Yeah, right. I mean, there's only just towering mountains of doom around you everywhere. Just look at the terrain popping up on the radar there. Alright, we are about to capture our glide slope, which will make me a lot more comfortable and reduce the workload a little bit here. So approach mode, recog lights are on. They are on. Altimeter set, pressurization set, inertial separators on. Crew briefing is complete. Before landing, landing gear 3 dots, or 3 greens, which we have.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
It has captured the glide slope, so we're starting our descent into
Sync
Aspen.
rate. Sync rate. Sync rate.
Pull
Sync
some power
rate.
back.
Sync rate. Sync.
Foot brakes tested. Landing gear and taxi lights are on. Flaps as required. Autopilot and L dampener off. Once we get visual on the runway, which there it is actually, we'll be good to go. Cap pressurization 0 differential pressure.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Getting close.
Sync rate. 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 Sync rate.
Alright, let's go ahead and inhibit
rate.
that. Since we have eyes on the runway here, let's go ahead and slow her back up to 100 knots. Nice steep approach into Aspen. Three green, flaps full. 100 knots, autopilot off, yaw damper off. High airplane. This would have been only slightly more challenging had we kept it with the actual time. But I wanted that sunset for the colors. Still perfectly on the glide slope for the 6 degrees. Alright, got 2 green, 2 red. Let's go ahead and level off just a hair. Gear check, gears down. Full power. We are on the ground. Reversers. And reversers off. Welcome to Aspen. Flaps up. Ground idle. Go get front row parking. How about that?
Warning, trim.
The butter waffles and or butter. Oh, you mix it up on me. Is it butter pancake waffle? Butter waffle pancakes, isn't it? Absolutely necessary now. That'll do. Parking brake on. Alright, after landing, condition lever, ground idle, flaps set to 0. Both doors done. Exterior lights as required. Taxi lights, nav lights, beacon on. Recog can go off. Ice protection is off. Radar to standby. Trim set for takeoff. I don't know if this is going to let me adjust the elevator. Oh, see, it's actually letting me adjust it this time. Oops, I meant butter, waffles, pancakes. Gotta get the order right. Absolutely. Can't have a tradition if it's not correct. And then rotor trim, get back to the green. Okay, parking brake set, ECS off. Taxi lights off. Transponder to VFR. Heating and cooling off. Go ahead and remove our signs while we're at it. Avionics to off.
Warning, avionic bus.
Generators to off.
Warning, essential bus. Generator 2.
ITT stable. ITT is stable at 685 and ground. Let's see, I need to set this up as a lever on my Bravo, so I don't accidentally do that again. And you cut off. Prop goes to 0 RPM. We can turn the beacon off. The weather was a lot worse when we left here earlier. Alright, beacon off, nav lights off. EPS switch to off. Control wheel lock installed. Battery switch off once the NG is less than 10%. NG is 0.2. I'm sorry, that was the battery switch. Then the oxygen goes off after the battery. And parking brake is off. For cooling. We'll leave it on just because we don't need anything rolling away on us. And we'll go ahead and get everybody out of the airplane. Alright. We'll enjoy our tail number one more time. It wasn't quite as bad on our return flight as it was on our way in. Oh, check out that icing collecting on the nose right there. That's cool. It's a good thing we had all of our anti-icing off, although we got quite a bit picked up on the airplane here. Maybe we should have increased the boot speed to 1 minute versus 3 minutes. Alright, well guys, that's gonna be it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed that, especially the flight back was a lot better than the first flight. We'll be back on Sunday for sure. I haven't decided what we're doing tomorrow. Yeah, Ohio, Oscar Hotel Foxtrot Uniform Kilo is the best registration ever. I agree. Have a great night. See ya, Diesel. Thanks for sticking around the entire time. We might do something tomorrow. Not sure yet. That's yet to be determined. But until Sunday, see you guys next time, and happy flying.